So for us to be able to log in, we need to click on this and then put this particular stuff here. And then anything you write here now is going to allow you entry, okay, into this particular website. So we have been able to use, we have logged in already to admin, interface of this website. So we can see people's order, we can see privacy, we can see a whole lot of stuff in this particular website now. So let me revert back to the template that we are using to learn, right? Sorry, I'll find it very shortly. Try hack me. Okay, maybe I have to. Okay, I found it. Okay, so we have been able to use what we call an SQL injection to be able to access these websites. So for those who have this assignment, you can basically copy this screenshot and then okay, you can be able to do that basically. Okay, so what the first question there it says, log into the administrator's account. And for us to log into the administrator's account, we can do that using the SQL injection. So there are what we call SQL payloads. Okay, let me just write SQL payloads online. Maybe let me check for GitHub and then payload box, SQL payloads, and the rest of that. There are plenty of them, 1,000 of SQL payloads. Okay, this person did not have. Okay, sorry. You can basically go to injection payloads. Let me just see if I'm going to have a quick payloads that was written. There is a guy I usually get it from, but I've forgotten. You know, um, okay, let me just sorry. Okay, let me remove guitar and so that sorry. Um, okay, maybe this. Okay, no, I'm not sure I'm gonna be able to get it here that easily. Now, what I want to show you is example of them. Let me just try and maybe use this one. So you can, sorry, you can see there's a guy I get this thing from so easily. Let me just know plenty of them written out. Plenty of them written out. So if this didn't work, another one will work, another one will work. Okay, let me just write an AI. Give me 100 or 100, yeah, 100 SQL in SQL. Let me just say payloads, right? So these are we asked for 100, right? So it's going to give us 100. So when you look at this, you find out this is the one we used. This is the one we used. So in a certain website that this didn't work, this might work, this might work, this might work, this might work, depending on the how sophisticated the developer is and how knowledgeable the developer is and the whole lot of all this stuff. Okay, so the next thing we want to do now is problem number two question. Log into blend to Blender account. Now you remember we cannot create account here. The account can only be created by the company, right? But since when we were checking this, let me log out now. When we are checking for the product, we found out that this there is somebody who is called Blender who we have the information in this place, right? So that simply means we can copy this email and be able to guess some password and try to log in with those password. Okay, so how are we going to log into Blender's account now? Okay, so from what we have here, it is giving us a direction or a directive how we can be able to log into Blender's account, right? So in this you remember that this first problem, this first we didn't use the email, right? So we remember what we are learning is SQL injection. So this particular when we wanted to log into the admin, even though we know the password to the admin interface, but we didn't want to use the sorry, not the password, but the email. We didn't want to use the email. We want to use the SQL injection immediately. So we use this one. Then, but for this blender, we want to use another method to solve this particular problem. So what you want to use is in the email environment, you want to write blender at juice ch.op, then we put our dash dash on it. Okay, and then on the password environment we are just going to write on the password environment we're just going to write the a, or maybe any number you just want to write in that particular place. Okay, so this is what they say we should do. So blender, sorry, not blender but bender, right? Bender, and then these. Okay, so and then I'm going to copy it, come back to this place. Since I already know this particular customer, and since the customer want to tell us his login details, we are going to come here and then come to this place, and then we are going to write this particular. Remember that the original information is vendor at juice dash ch dot op, then a apostrophe dash dash. Now I'm going to explain what this dash dash simply means, and then here dash dash it simply means telling the system neglects every other thing. If there is every other thing that will not make us know to enter this particular account, neglect it for us. Okay, and because we need to put something in this place in the password environment, that's the reason we have to write A or B or whatsoever. Just anything you write is going to work. And then when we click here, we are supposed to log into this particular you know uh, environment. I don't know why this is taking so much time to work. I don't know why this is taking so much time. It was just a network challenge, and now it has been rectified. So I've logged in as Bender, the same stuff that we used over here. Okay, so that was what I used, and then I logged in as Bender in this particular um, you know solution that we are trying to provide, right? Okay, so having done that, now forward that to the server. Okay, so we have been able to log in now. So basically this person can be able to screenshot this environment, telling us that he have been able to done that. Let me try and to screenshot this for person who might want to um, use it. So you find out we are not logged in as the admin, we are logged in as vendor in this particular place because we used a payload to be able to do that. So the next thing we have is sorry, let me plug in my okay. So the next instruction we have over here is okay. So we are done with the question number one and question number two in this particular command. So you remember what we did was SQL injection. We say SQL injection is when an attacker enters a malicious or um, malfunction query to either retrieve or target data from database, and in some cases log into the account. So the purpose of SQL injection is basically to uh, um so can potentially cause downtime and loss of data and the rest of that. So basically that is it. So the next problem we might want to solve here is the tax number 4. Okay, so tax number 4 is giving us a certain instruction here, and it's saying who broke my lock. Okay, so in this task we look at exploiting authentication through different flows. So basically, in this place, you have there's something we call a brute force, the administrator account password. This can be done through the use of what do we call it now? Through the use of um, what's the name of this tool again? Okay, to generate and manipulate the password of the admin. Okay, so that is basically um what is one does. So in our next video, I'm going to guide you through the use of this. However,